guys, it's Mevoda here, and I'm back on the Vadact Creative Server. And this is the hill that I have made since our last episode. Started this last episode. As you see, I've been spending a lot of time on it, and I'm kind of liking the way it's coming out. I think it came out pretty awesome. Thing I've been doing, I've been adding stone coming out of here. It's supposed to be like, you know, big rocks kind of protruding out of the mountainside. I'm gonna add a couple more of them too, probably later on after we get some more structures and stuff in here. And I've started a path. That cobble right there is not gonna be there, you know, that was just to kind of mark out where I wanted the path to go. But yeah, as you can see, the path is just a mix of cobble, gravel, cracked stone, mossy cobble. And I put some, you know, bone meal in here and there. I've been trying to... I'm liking the way, like, a lot of the white flowers and stuff look, so a lot of those I'll leave in. But I've been knocking out any flowers that bloom, especially in the pathways. I'm trying to keep those just some, you know, grown in grass. So as I've been thinking about this build and how I have things laid out, I know I'm gonna, you know, build a town, and there's gonna be a lot of little houses and structures and farms, and maybe a windmill or something like that. And, you know, that gives us an opportunity to add all kinds of detail and stuff here. I always like adding some sort of water, too. I've done it in my last two builds, but I wouldn't mind doing it here either. So I may even build, like, a waterfall over here that goes over into a lake or something. We'll see. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. But I've been kind of debating what am I going to put at the top of the hill here. I could do like a tower kind of thing, but I did that on my last build. And I could do some sort of structure, but it needs to be something, you know, pretty epic if it's sitting at the top of this hill. So what I think I've decided is a very large, epic custom tree is what we're going to go with. And we're going to go traditional oak. I also actually like mixing in spruce leaves with my trees just to get multiple like leaf textures and stuff. But this is gonna be a big tree. I think I have pretty decent skills with trees. Like, hold on one second. We'll just do this quick. If we go back to my first plot real quick. Small plots. Plot home one. Like oh wait, no, what am I doing? Slash plot home. I've played this game before, I swear. What is going on? Oh, that's why, because I disabled the chat. Hold on, sorry guys. Yeah, chat was getting a little intense, so... Oh, and for some reason on this server, when you go commands only, it doesn't work. The chat still comes through. But anyway, my whole point of coming here was I built a custom tree on this plot, and I'm really happy with it. I like the way it came out. But I've never done something on the magnitude of what I plan on doing at the top of the hill there. It can't be, I mean, too humongous, because the roots need to look like natural. It needs to look like it could sit on top of that hill. But I do want to make it pretty big. And we could, if we wanted to, kind of make the roots kind of pop out the sides of the hill and stuff. To give it a little more, you know, kind of structure, I suppose, to the hill. How did I wind up with a fishing pole? I swear to God, I've played this game before. Let me just disable the chat once more, and we're gonna get started on our tree. This might come out very good. it might be awful and need lots of work. So we'll see how much we can get done in an episode here. I'm gonna start off with just a basic, shape going up the middle. Yeah, I think that's how tall we're gonna make it kind of like fat and wide. So we need to start branching out a little bit just to give some of the branches. Yeah, branching out to give the branches. I just said that. And with this, I kind of like to go up a little bit on some of them. Maybe go down on a couple, like that. As opposed to going up. Just to give it some variety. Okay. I might add more branches to this too. I just want to get it started a little bit. I kind of jump around a little bit with these. And want to start shaping out this trunk. So that's going to be like the middle. I know we can at least do this because it's going to be pretty fat at the bottom. But we're definitely not going to have it be this square in the end. Might even try to make the trunk like lean a little bit. Let's bring this up. Oops. Keep on knocking out blocks. I don't mean to. As I said, we're going to see how much of this we can get done in this episode. I've definitely been having fun on this creative build server so far, I must say at this point. This is going to be episode number 3 of my series. As I mentioned in my first episode, yeah, I'm going to start to try to shape this a little bit. Building is certainly my favorite thing to do in this game. It's what I kind of gravitate most towards. So it was really only a matter of time before I had a, creative building series on my channel. And yeah, it seems to be getting, not that this is the only reason you do it, but it is starting to get a pretty decent amount of views compared to some of my, other series and stuff, so that's exciting. It seems at least I'm getting some views. Which is awesome, because it makes like this already fun thing I'm having make me want to do it even more. Because it seems like other people are at least, checking it out. So I'm going to start bringing out a trunk a little bit. Maybe do this here. So this is kind of a... I do a certain amount of planning in within each part of the build, I guess, but it's definitely, there's a large aspect of it that's like, kind of plan as you go. I'm slowly figuring out what I want to do with this place. As I said, I'd already started building the hill. My last episode, I did not know I was going to build a tree yet. Like, that's not something I'd really thought of yet, and I'm glad I did. Because I think it's going to come out pretty cool. Alright, we need to bring some roots out this way. Maybe like that. Same thing over here. Oh yeah, we'll leave that one there. Oh man, I'm getting some lag. What's going on here? Okay, anyway, keep moving. It's manageable. Bring that out a little bit that way. Cool, this is starting to happen. Just want to start to shape this a little better. Alright, maybe bring this up a little more. Something like that. How does that look? Getting there. This is gonna have a lot of trial and error. Oops. Alright, I like that so far. It's looking pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to leave it like that for now, and I'm going to get started on maybe doing a couple more branches. And then from there, we'll start to add some leaves. These trees take, even the smaller trees that I make take tons of leaves, so that's going to be like the biggest part of this for sure. Is adding all the leaves. I think that's pretty cool. Let's get started, I guess, on the leaves. So what I usually do is, like, first I just like to try to cover all the branches the best I can. At least where for the most part. There's, sometimes I like to leave a little bit exposed here closer to the trunk, but for the most part out here, I like to, just make sure everything is nice and covered. Underneath, very important. Okay. And we're going to do that to each of the branches. Alright, so I've got all the branches covered now, and it doesn't look that good, because now is where we get to the important part, and also kind of the most random part too. This is like the most kind of trial and error, just kind of mess around with things part, and that's just shaping these branches, and shaping the leaves, and just adding shape. This is what is going to make the tree look cool in the end, and this is also where I start mixing up blocks, or grass blocks. I'm trying to get some different variety. And oh man, what to talk about while I'm doing all this leafing? I should probably say, if anybody has any suggestions of things I should add to my city or my town that's gonna go down this hillside, please leave them in the comments, because I would very much appreciate some suggestions. Trying to figure out what I want to build. There's so many of the go-to things that people do build, which I enjoy. There is a reason that they are go-to things. It's because it's something, that works well with a game where you build things with blocks. I notice, medieval detail style kind of stuff is a little easier to do with, like, this block stuff, and, make it look cool. Yeah. Not that I'm necessarily going to make it medieval. I'm kind of debating on, style-wise what to go with. With this big epic tree at the top of the hill, kind of still leaves things, I think, pretty open. This place could be like a medieval type of place. It could be kind of elvish, elves and elvish kind of stuff. It could be, a Nordic build. I don't know. Still, debating on what to go with. Probably just, kind of start building and see where it takes me. Maybe I'll fly around a bit on the server for some inspiration. It's always a good thing to do on these servers. These places are loaded with incredible builders. amazing builders, people who can build it, mind-boggling stuff. So, that's one of the reasons why you even do something like this on a server, is, get inspired by other people. And people say it's, oh, you mean stealing from other people? And I say, you're dealing with a game where there's a lot of block types and stuff, but still at the end of the day, it's a limited, finite amount of blocks that you can mess with, and limited amount of combinations of things that do look cool and look good. Some things just look terrible together. So you're not gonna, as I said, you're not gonna reinvent the wheel every single time you build something. Sometimes you just gotta go with what works. And flying around the server kind of opens up your mind. Stealing and borrowing things from other people opens up your mind to what does work, what's available and does work. You might see something that someone built that you just never even thought of doing before. You're like, oh, that's a great idea. And you do things, to change it, to kind of make it your own. You try not to steal builds verbatim, but it's definitely good to take stylistic cues from people and stuff like that. It's like, oh, if you're gonna build in this style, kind of stick with this block type, and if you're gonna build to this style, if you're gonna build medieval, try to use the different types of stone and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's definitely cool to go check out other people's stuff. Even on this server, as I kind of showed in the first episode, even going to spawn is incredible. It's such a cool place, and such an impressive build. And yeah, so definitely gives me lots of inspiration when I go to get building some stuff myself. Gives me ideas and stuff. And as I said, it's never good to steal stuff verbatim. Just take build it block for block exactly the same. But you can take ideas, and concepts and things like that. Okay. So as we've been doing this, as you see, I've just been adding leaves and adding leaves and adding leaves and trying to kind of get the general shape that I'm looking for. And I'm always trying to flatten or get rid of these flat areas, round out the flat spots. Because, in my opinion, you don't want flat spots on your trees. If it's hitting the edge of the plot, that's one thing. Then you can get away with it a little bit. But, aside from that, you want a tree to look nice and natural, and the best way to do that with square blocks is to round it off, the best you can. So once in a while, I'm just gonna take a step back and look at this. It's starting to look pretty cool, I think. I'd like to fill it out some more. But already I'm actually pretty happy with it. Happier than I expected to be. Expected this to maybe be disastrous, and maybe even be something we might have to tear down and start over again and stuff. But I don't think so. I think I can work with this. Of course, as you add leaves, if you don't do it in a specific way, you wind up adding more flat spots all over the place, which you then gotta go add more leaves to later just to round out again. But that's okay. Like I said, it's all part of the kind of trial and error, knock stuff off kind of aspect of this tree building. Add some more stuff here. Okay. Probably could have done a lot of this in the time-lapse, but I don't want to turn it into necessarily a time-lapse series. I did a time-lapse last episode. I'm definitely going to do more, but I didn't want to do, 2 time-lapses in a row. Instead, I thought I'd exercise my ability to build and talk at the same time. Oops, I have mentioned in episodes that it's not one of my strengths, so, I mean, like most things in life, the way you turn it into one of your strengths is do it more, you know, practice. That's kind of what I'm doing here, practicing my, as a, what does Generic B says it? What does he say? Walking and chewing bubblegum or something? Alright. Starting to make some progress, I think. I like the way it's coming out. I still want to start. I want to start. There we go. Words. I want to start trying to add some kind of droopiness to this tree, you know, like little spots that come down, make it kind of willowish, I guess, looking. Even if it's not specifically, you know, a willow tree, I just like the way that shape looks when you see it in these custom trees. Okay, gotta remember to keep switching up block types every once in a while for some variety. Okay, starting to look nice. There's a lot of spruce over here already, so we're gonna switch back to oak. Alright. Again, just trying to get rid of these flat spots. Okay. Alright, we got a good start here, I think. And I think it's definitely... Yeah, I still want to add some more shape. It looks kind of too diagonal right there and stuff. I'm going to work on it. But this is the plot so far, and I think we're off to a rather good start. I like the way it looks. I think it's got some potential. Start building some structures all in here and stuff, and I think this place will start to look pretty epic indeed. So I'm still going to keep working on this place. Probably by next episode I'll have worked a little more on this tree, if not a lot more. And yeah, and maybe we can start moving on to some other structures and things here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, and if you really enjoyed, subscribe to my channel, and you know, you'll stay updated on all the stuff I got going on in the future. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.